Hi and welcome to another Checiegirl Creations DIY video. So today I will be working my A5 journal, and those 2 pages you see there, you can see that those videos in an icon in the top right hand corner. So this one has already got paint on it. I think it might, yeah, it was acrylics that was like watered down, and I just put the extras on there because I didn't want to waste the paint. So that provides me with a really nice background. So I'm using some tissue paper from packaging from the December mixed media box. And on this page, as well as the jellyfish page that you just saw, I will be using leftovers from those mixed media boxes. So I'm just putting on some washi tape there as well. And I'll be using also any of the mixed media boxes, like whatever I think goes best on the page. So like these papers I'm sticking on now is from last year's June box theme vintage, which is why there's like I'm using that kind of book paper, deco paper. So yeah, my plan was to make like some kind of sunset, since the background was already like orange and yellows and reds. So I thought I would do like, you know, that kind of African kind of sunset paintings that you see sometimes, where it's like you have the sunset in the background, of course, and you have like a silhouette. So I'm sticking down that book paper there as well, and that's supposed to be the sun. And things do change a little bit, but you'll see that in a little bit. Oh, and I use PVA glue to stick down everything, just in case you were wondering. So now I'm going to prime the surface with a thin layer of chalk primer, and that chalk primer is from the December box. But if you don't want like a Christmas theme, but you want to pick up a box with chalk primer in, get the March one, and that's all like art journaling and stuff. Is themed memory journaling. Memory keeping, sorry. So that's kind of like an art journal theme as well. So you can pick that one up, and that has chalk primer in it. So once that dried, I'm adding some paint. So this is medium yellow, I believe. And then I'm using some, I think that's cadmium orange or something like that. Yeah, so I'm using some orange as well as some red, and you'll see me add that in a little bit. And I'm going to go quite strong with the orange and the red. And you'll see it kind of overpowers the yellow, but I'll sort that out in a little bit. And so like with the yellow, I went all the way to the top, and then the orange I kind of went like a few steps up and then went all the way up to the top. Then the red, again, a few steps up, then all the way to the top, just so it blends nicely. And now I'm going to add some more yellow. I feel like it just wasn't bright enough. And I'm going to go all the way to the top this time, just to kind of blend all the colors together so it doesn't look like block colors. It looks a little bit more cohesive. I'm adding more. And I'm going over quite heavy. I've kind of watered down the yellow so it spreads further, and I quite liked how that looked. So now I'm going to make the color for the ground. Now I didn't want to use black. I wanted it to be dark but not black. So I'm taking some purple and some orange and mixing that. But normally when I'm making like a brown color, I do tend to put purple and yellow. So I don't know why I put orange, because then it made like a really warm brown. So then I just added some like dark blue to that, so it made that color, which I was a lot happier with. And the reason yellow and purple make brown is because they are opposite on the color wheel. So when they're opposites, they contrast, and it looks really good, but then if you mix them, they create brown. And so that's how that worked. And you can see I didn't like how that looked with like the sun and stuff, so then I just decided to turn it into a hill, and now I'm putting a tree on top of that hill. So I'm using a slightly smaller brush to put that tree in. And I'm not great at trees. I tend to have to work really hard to make a tree look decent. So you'll see I just keep on adding layers and adding branches over and over again until I'm happy with it. And you can see those weird like spots I'm adding. It's just really blobs of paint. I'm just randomly pressing the paintbrush onto the page there, like both coming away from the tree and on the tree, because those would be leaves blowing in the wind. And you'll see me I'll add some more detail later on, so you can actually kind of tell what it is. At the moment I'm just being quite abstract and loose with what I'm doing. And I'm just quickly putting in a girl there who at first she was reading a book, but then I wanted to add some hair, so Her hair is also blowing in the wind because I wanted to really show that it's like a kind of breezy scene, a breezy sunset kind of scene thing going on there. And now I'm using my liner brush, which is a really thin brush, which I love. If you've been watching previous videos, I always mention it when I use it. I got that from Hobbycraft, and that's just really good for adding detail. So I'm adding it, I'm using it to add some more branches and make them a little bit longer, a little bit thinner, because the brush I was using before doesn't have as much as a nice point as this one. So you can see I'm just making the tree a little bit bigger, thought it looked a bit too small, and just adding some more blobs really for the leaves. And everything was wet there, just in case you didn't notice. I didn't dry like the sunset colors before I did this. Okay, so that's all dry. And now for detail. So I'm using this black ink by Ko Ai Noor with my calligraphy pen to add details. And you'll see it kind of blends into the paint. I don't know why it dried like that. That's quite interesting. So the lines look really strong there, but they do kind of like dull out, which was quite nice actually. I did like how they just kind of blended into it, especially on the tree with the branches, because I am just outlining everything. It's not like normally sometimes when I add details, I only put black lines, say where the shadows would be, then I go in with my white pen, but I was outlining everything, so I quite liked how it blended in with the paint. So you can see as it dries, it fades a little bit. And I wonder now if I use my ink from Winsor & Newton, if it would have done that. That would be quite interesting to see if it would. So yes, so I'm just outlining all of that. And while I do that, I thought I would just remind you that there are some mixed media boxes left over from June themed Fun with Fibers. And you can find all of that in the link below, as well as you can get these previous boxes in the description below. And the September box will be launched in August. Yeah, so keep an eye out for that. You can visit my website and like subscribe to my blog posts, and join my mailing list so that when it is launched, you'll find out. And as well as if you follow me on Instagram, Facebook, you'll find out as well. So now I'm adding some leaves. And I'm just going around the blobs that I found looked leafy a bit, as well as not. Like some bits on the tree don't like have little blobs on them, as well as the like leaves that are blowing through the breeze. I add some in there as well, so you can see I'll add those in a little bit. There we are. And you can see how the leaves look stronger on where there isn't any like blackish paint. So I'm really not sure why it blended in like that. Quite cool really. So yeah, so I'm just adding that in. It's very quick, and I'm making sure to make the leaves all face slightly different directions, so they're all like blowing in the same way, but of course they won't all be facing the same direction like soldiers. So I wanted it to make it look as natural as possible by making them point slightly different ways. So I'll let that dry. Oh, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing there. Can't see. Okay, so right, so I've let that dry a little bit, and now I'm going to add some highlights with my mutable signal pen. Now first I was just signing my page. I always make sure and do that. And now to add some details. So I've added some to her hair, and I thought everything just looked a little bit too dark. So now I'm adding some white leaves blowing in the wind, and I'll add some to the tree as well. And a mutable signal pen, I really do love this white gel pen. It works really well on dark surfaces, which is nice. So yeah, I'm just adding all of those, and I'm just really filling in any empty spaces, especially on the tree. I thought it looked a little bit empty with leaves, but because I was using black ink, it wouldn't stand out very well against the tree. So this was perfect to use the white. And I know it's supposed to be a sunset, but then I started to add like highlights as if the sun was in the sky. And you'll see me do that in a little bit, which didn't make that much sense, but that's all right. It's an art journal page. You can really do what you want, which is nice. So you can see now I'm adding highlights, but it just helped to brighten up the page, and I really liked how that turned out. So that's pretty much it. So if you liked the video, please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and click that bell so you can get notified whenever I upload a video. And yeah, oh, I'm just inking the edges there with my Memento ink pad, and I'll do the jellyfish page as well. So yes, thanks again for watching, and I hope you join me again for another arty adventure. Bye!